In the humming heart of Covington, within a book-cluttered office, lived the gentle rhythm of a typewriter, a rhythm that belonged to Harrison, a journalist who wore his age like a comforting old coat and was known more for his silences than his words. His fingers danced on the keys, weaving tales of the city and its people, his eyes mirroring a quiet understanding of the world. His world was one filled with sepia-toned memories, tinged with the grief of a childhood cut short, losing a parent too soon. A void that seemed to pulsate within him, whispering echoes of a past innocence lost to the cruel clutches of time. It was in this emptiness he found his fuel, a fervent passion to help those lost in the labyrinth of life, a flame ignited and tended within his fair and generous heart. That evening, as the sunset smeared its hues across the city's face, a mysterious letter slid under his office door. A missive filled with disjointed sentences and cryptic whispers about an unusual gala hosted in the city's orphanage. His brow furrowed, he mused over the absurdity, his mind spinning tales of eccentric millionaires and misguided charity. But something deeper unsettled him. Beneath the absurd, there was an undercurrent of dread, a cold ripple that seemed to echo from the ragged edges of the letter. Seeking the elusive truth, he ventured into the city, the echo of the typewriter fading into the cacophonous melody of Covington's evening life. His conversations with the local folk brought forth more enigma than enlightenment. The quiet librarian, her voice hushed as the pages she adored, talked about the change in the affluent visitor's demeanor, how their laughter seemed hollow, their gaze vacant. The jovial bartender spoke of peculiarly somber gatherings, a stark contrast to the flamboyant parties the rich were known for. With each conversation, Harrison felt himself drawn further into the maze of mystery that shrouded the affluent gala at the orphanage. His journalistic instinct, honed over years, sensed a story stirring beneath the facade of the city's elite. Seated once again at his worn typewriter, he mulled over the strange accounts, the enigma becoming a fevered obsession. His fingers poised over the keys, he took a deep breath, the echoes of innocence calling him forth into a world unknown to him. He was on the precipice of a revelation, about to tumble into an abyss from which there may be no return. Subtle whispers of intrigue drifted through the corridors of Covington's upper echelon. Harrison, now a curious figure in their midst, found himself under the cold, glittering chandeliers of the city's old orphanage, transformed into a kaleidoscope of colors and debonair elite, an incongruous spectacle amidst the worn bricks and faded memories. From afar, the gathering was a resplendent display of wealth, but up close it began to unfurl its peculiarities. Conversations seemed timed to an unseen conductor's baton, responses rehearsed to the point of monotony. Laughter echoed in hollow chambers, and eyes held the eerie calm of a stagnant pond. Beneath the veneer of decadent dresses and indulgent smiles, there was an undercurrent of discord, a discordant note in the symphony of the gala. With his well-honed instinct, he wove through the crowd, drawing forth dialogues that clung to the underbelly of normality. The distinguished councilman, his usually fervid speeches now punctuated by unusual pauses in the prominent socialite, her gregarious chatter reduced to a reserved murmur. The protagonists of Covington's high society were not themselves, their roles now dictated by an unseen script, their characters faded, merely echoes of their former grandeur. Engrossed in his cryptic conversations, he found himself with the orphanage director, an elderly woman with a tender smile that belied the hardness in her eyes. Her dialogue held more warmth than the others, yet there was a distinct sense of reservation in her words, a fear that lingered in the pauses between her sentences. As the moon reached its zenith, the gala wound down, leaving him with a whirlpool of questions. The party's spectacle had faded, the guests dispersed, leaving the orphanage to sigh in the silence of the night, its secrets tucked safely within its age walls. Back in his office, he sat before the cold, unwelcoming glow of his typewriter. He felt an invisible thread tugging at him, pulling him deeper into the enigma, drawing him closer to the orphanage and the elusive truth it housed. The echoes of the hollow laughter and time conversations reverberated in his mind, each echo a chilling reminder of the strange masquerade he had witnessed. Harrison stepped over the threshold of a new dawn, embarking on a quest to unveil the sinister masquerade that loomed over Covington's elite. As he delved deeper into the cryptic labyrinth, an uncanny revelation surfaced from the depths. An invasive presence, hailing from realms beyond earthly comprehension, had burrowed into the minds of the elite, turning them into marionettes dancing to an alien tune. He unraveled this truth through clandestine meetings with an anonymous source, their identity shrouded in darkness, their voice an ethereal whisper on late-night calls. Their words painted horrific images of beings that slithered into the human mind, controlling it, puppeteering it from the inside. These parasites, as the source referred to them, had claimed the orphanage as their breeding ground, and the city's affluent their hosts. Harrison, no stranger to horror, felt a chill creep along his spine. A cosmic dread washed over him, an abyss yawning before his steps, yet he felt an inescapable urge to press on. His drive, rooted in the heartache of his past, the unfulfilled promise of saving the lost, propelled him toward the terror rather than away from it. Returning to the orphanage, he saw it now not as a sanctuary for the innocent, but as a nest for these cosmic parasites. The innocent laughter of the children now seemed to echo against a backdrop of the grotesque, and the blank stares of the staff held a new dreadful significance. The line between host and parasite blurred, the Covington elite no longer distinguishable from the alien entities that puppeteered them. Even the elderly director, once a figure of warm compassion, now seemed like a sentinel, guarding the alien brood within the orphanage's heart. Her eyes, filled with a hardened resolve, bore into his, their silent exchange fraught with unspoken warnings and veiled threats. The dawn of Harrison's revelation brought with it a disconcerting chill. The knowledge of the parasites, their unfathomable nature, and their dreadful hold over the elite wrapped around him like a sinister fog. But within that fog, there was also a beacon, his unwavering resolve to save those lost to this cosmic horror. His every step through the city echoed with the heavy knowledge he bore. The familiar, cheerful faces of Covington's people now bore a dreadful duality in his eyes. Friend or puppet, human or host. Each corner of the city, each brick of the orphanage, harbored the shadow of the unseen enemy. His confrontation with the elderly director, once a figure of authority, now a presumed parasite host, was tense. Their conversation was a dance around the unspeakable truth. Her eyes bore a look of tacit acknowledgement, a silent affirmation of the dark reality they both understood but did not voice. Under the veil of the moonlit night, he found his opportunity to escape Covington. Yet even as he slipped away into the shadows, the cries of the children, the hollowness in the eyes of the city's elite, the eerie silence of the orphanage, they all clung to him, a haunting symphony of horror that would forever play in the corridors of his memory. Outside the city limits, the sigh of relief he breathed was tainted with the bitter taste of a hollow victory. He had fled the immediate horror, but the knowledge of the parasitic entities was a burden he would forever carry. His life was irrevocably marked by the chilling awareness of the unseen, lurking at the periphery of everyday existence. He sat in his dimly lit office, a ghost of a man haunted by the cosmic horror he had unveiled. His typewriter, once a tool of revelation, now stood as a reminder of Covington's dreadful secret. He was a man changed, forever scarred by the knowledge of the lurking unseen parasites. Yet despite the horror, there was a sense of resilience in him, a will forged in the crucible of his past trauma, an unbroken spirit that refused to crumble under the weight of cosmic terror. He was a beacon of hope in a world overshadowed by unknowable horrors, a testament to the enduring human spirit that dared to shine even in the face of incomprehensible darkness. The tale was over, yet his fight was far from finished. As one nightmare ended, he steeled himself for the unseen horrors that lay ahead, ready to challenge the lurking shadows of the world. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, show your support with a like and subscribe, and stay notified by hitting the bell icon. Expect more cosmic horror from Eldritch Tales Factory, and feel free to explore our other stories. See you in the next video.